The biggest investment you make is not any asset, it's who you marry. When you have a supportive spouse, you can do so much more because you are more confident. You can take on more risk. One of the classic hallmarks of being a successful entrepreneur, we have fear all the time. We just do it anyway. Hi everybody, Veena, JETTI here. Welcome to the Wealthbusters podcast, and I'm so excited because in today's episode, I tell you guys not only about how I've transacted on over $1 billion of real estate, but more importantly, how my spouse helped me do that and why having a good wife is the key to financial success. Join us and see what we talked about in this episode.
I'm thinking about the video you make.
Oh, which one? There are many.
What is it like to be an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Why do you think that would get so much traction?
I think because we were just being kind of silly, and I think it resonated with people, but it was like a little bit quirky, so people kind of saw our personalities come through. Yeah. But I mean, which part is a lie?
None of it.
It was all truthful.
The last part that I laughed at was like, of course they're going to ask about where's your husband?
Oh my gosh, all the time people say this to me. And it's like funny to make fun of it now. But I think there's so many people that are like, oh, I could totally relate to this. And so I think that's why maybe it got as much traction as it did.
So do you want to answer that question?
Where's my husband?
Yeah.
You know what I usually tell them when they ask me this? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't tell him about this meeting. Did you? Or I sometimes like to be petty Jetty, and then I'll be like, where's your wife?
Ooh.
And they're like, she's not coming. I'm like, I guess neither of us invited our spouses to work today.
Oh, so smooth.
So yeah, it's it's one of those things you kind of like are used to anticipating these questions.
Yeah. So yeah. That's crazy. That's great. That's crazy funny. I laughed when I was on the way here, and then I think give people a little bit of context of where you come from and where you are now.
Okay, so now I'm a large multifamily owner-operator. I've bought and sold over $1 billion of multifamily assets in my portfolio. And I definitely did not start there. When I first started, I was working in corporate America. Yeah. I was working at some of the largest firms in the world in their real estate division. And I was on the management side.
Oh, okay.
It was great. I learned a lot, but I made a lot of money for somebody else. And then the first year that I got married and my husband and I paid taxes jointly, I was like, what's happening? We just paid like $200,000 in taxes. For us, at that time, it was so much money.
Yeah.
And this was 12 years ago. 12 years ago now. Uh-huh. And I call my mom because my mom is like, she's a successful investor as well.
Oh, really? Real estate investor?
Real estate, but she's single family. She never owned multifamily during her career.
How many single family does she own?
Now, 0.
Oh, what happened?
But she sold all of them. And
1031 exchange?
No, she sold all of them, realized the gain, and then everything is now reinvested into my assets now.
Can she not 1031 exchange that into your project?
No, because it would have been too little. Like, we won't really 1031 exchange unless it's like 10 million or above. It's not worth it otherwise.
Yeah, too much work.
Yeah, and so it would have been just like too many ticks on, and it wouldn't have been worth it. But she can still realize the depreciation from reinvesting. So, and also, we moved around a lot when we were kids. Every 2 years, we'd move to a new house. So what my parents would do is we'd live in the house
Homestead?
2 out of 5 years. Because they were all in the same area, all the same school district.
Yeah.
So they just move us from house to house to house to house. And then they would never have to pay the capital gains because we lived in it 2 out of the 5 years that they owned it. And so that was what she did, but she didn't know.
Were you guys a fixer-upper kind of thing?
Very mild, like lipstick, not... Her main strategy was like to buy and hold with long-term tenants.
So why move around then?
Because when they sold it, they didn't want to have to pay the capital gains tax.
But then if you sold it and move in the same area and you just buy another one.
Oh, so we owned all of them at the same time. So they would move, sell, buy another one, but be living in a different one. So we just moved from house to house.
Wait, but hold up. Like in Canada, our CRA, the IRS equivalent is smarter because they look at how many years to stay in there and they prorate it.
Oh, no. So in the U.S., it's if you live in the home for any 2 years of the last 5 years you own it. That's all that matters.
Really?
Yeah. So you can't live in like 7 different assets in the same year and count that. But you have to live in it for 2 full years of residence. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where I called my mom when I paid taxes and was like, I know Canadians are like laughing because this is totally normal for you guys. For us, it was a shock. And my mom said, well, you have to quit your job and you have to invest for yourself. It's the government does not incentivize you to be an employee. It incentivizes you to be a business owner.
I wish I had a mom like that.
I mean, it really is the cheat code. Like, that's how I got so far ahead, because I had parents, both my parents were really savvy with money. They were really great with investments, and they were good examples for us. They were good role models with money and investments. And so she goes, you have to quit your job, start a business, invest in real estate, get the full-time real estate professional designation that the IRS can give you here. And so I was like, all right, seems legit. Quit my job, started investing. And then quickly realized that, so my husband's a physician, right? He's an anesthesiologist.
Same as my dad.
Yes, same as your dad.
Talk about that.
Yes, and so he's a high-income W-2 at the time.
Correct.
But what I realized is by being a full-time real estate professional, I could offset his active income with active losses. And so basically I could, through real estate investing, I could bring our tax burden down to negligible, almost zero.
That's another part that Canadians cannot do.
Yes.
Again, I'm not an accountant, but I think you know Canadians cannot do it because active is active, passive is passive, right?
Correct.
You can't offset each other.
So you can't offset passive losses with passive or active income. It has to be like for like.
Yeah.
But because we're married and we file jointly, his active income and I get active losses because I participate and operate my business.
Correct.
So my active losses offset his income too.
So that could be worth investigating. I know, like, you know, Claudia, my fiance, is over there, and you asked about when we're going to get married. Maybe, you know.
This is the incentive, is if you can be a full-time.
You know, for guys, like, we're not looking for
Are you trying to not get married right now?
You know, like, I don't know about you, but I know for guys, it's like we're been together for so long. We do everything the same.
Where are you going with this? Because I feel like I am not going to give you the response you want here.
No, just like I think for guys, it's like, you know, we live together, we travel together, we even invest together and all that. What difference would it make with the marriage?
Okay, if it doesn't make a difference, then why not get married?
Oh, wow. She's a closer.
It's the question.
You basically ask a question back.
Yeah. I mean, but
that's the best
what's
way
good for the goose is good for the gander. And the most
That's the
important
best
part.
answer I heard so far. You basically answer a question by another question and throw it back at me.
Okay, but for real, right? Like, you're obviously not a closer.
I'm not a closer.
Well, you would have closed this deal. You guys have been together for 7 years.
Oh, wow. Now it's like she's attacking my bottom line belief.
I mean, it's like you have to question if someone cannot close this deal after 7 years.
We're engaged.
Okay. And? That's like saying we have an LOI on the property.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually matter until you close the deal.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of benefits to being married.
What is that?
Well, for you, men live longer.
Oh, really? Oh, based on stats, right?
Yeah, married men live longer.
Yeah.
Also, and look, if I were you, this is just some practical advice.
If Veena was a guy.
Yeah.
If Veena was Cody.
Yeah, if I was you, well, no, I would not have waited 7 years. When you find the one, you want to lock her down because someone else is going to recognize that she is an amazing catch. You have this opportunity, right? I mean, and she obviously really loves you because she's still sticking around after 7 years. So,
guys, that Wealthbuster podcast just turn it into a more of a personal development relationship.
Like
it's all part of wealth.
Session. Yes. Well, I'll tell you, the biggest investment you make is not any asset; it's who you marry.
Exactly.
And
she just put me on. I have
like
never been sweating so much interviewing people that my face turned red.
Being the host, you're like,
I'm being the host, but I'm like, I'm in the hot seat.
I know this took a wild turn, but okay, you say exactly confidently, like you believe this.
Yeah. Okay. So take a step back.
Okay.
It's not like I didn't make any progress. It's because I think there's some childhood thing that you grew up in a broken family, the things that you see.
I understand this.
And of course, when you do something, you take extra caution. It's like
Sure.
someone get burned before.
Okay.
But I understand it's not like, yeah, you got dumped by your first girlfriend and now you don't date a girl. I understand. And I think deep down there's some thing
Fear
in me that it's like no matter how successful you are, how much you push, there's something deep down that you don't even subconsciously realize. So we actually, like Claudia is standing over there, but we actually, because like when she was working for the corporate of Canada, she has all the insurance, so we can spend like 10, 20 sessions with like couple counseling and all that. And this is a funny story because I went, this is like during COVID time with nothing better to do. We sit at home and she asked me, she's like, hey, like, what's about this, right? And we're like, you know what? I think there's some inner thing. So as an entrepreneur, we want to solve it. Guys always want to solve it.
Okay.
Girls want to, people listen to them.
Okay.
But guys were like, if you say something, put it on the calendar, or should I just say, and then forget about it? Like, which one is this one?
Right.
Like we guys were very mechanic, right?
Right.
Especially I'm an engineer.
Some people might say simple creatures.
Oh, wow. It's just like all shots fired from all angles.
Don't being so mean.
No, that's fine. But
okay. Yeah, someone has to give you this tough love, though.
No, I know. So. And, the funny story is that when I went to the couple counseling, guess what? I'm being that asshole that when I walk into a room, I saw the guy, probably in like late 30, wearing like a sneaker, backpack, t-shirt, clearly looks like he lives in his mom's basement for the last 10 years, has never had a girlfriend, never married. But who am I to judge? I've never been asked that, but that's how I felt. So at that point, the arrogant me was like, I need to find someone like Veena who has gone through it, who can also live through it, been through it, maybe divorce once and marry again. I'm not saying you will do that, but someone who's gone through it and also be very successful in business to tell me what is good for me. Because I don't listen from people who's not ahead of me.
Of course not. And why would you? You shouldn't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with.
Yeah.
But I will tell you the single best investment I ever made was choosing my husband. So, because when everything is going wrong in the business world, he is my constant. He is my stability.
Yes.
He is the person that I always come back to. He's my best friend.
Correct.
And when you have a supportive spouse, you can do so much more because you are more confident. You can take on more risk. What you're doing right now is actually really interesting because you're an entrepreneur. And like one of the classic hallmarks of being a successful entrepreneur is we have fear all the time. We just do it anyway.
I know. It's not the fear. Maybe subconsciously.
Yeah.
We went through all that. Let me bring it back to that story.
Yeah,
There's two questions.
Okay.
So at first I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm doing this. Business very high risk. Anything can go wrong. We're just starting this, starting that. COVID timing. Yeah, it looks like we're doing well. And the couple counselor is like, well, so Cody, let me ask you, has anything gone wrong?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And he's like, so Cody, 99% of the things you're worried about probably will never happen.
Gonna happen. Yeah.
So why are you so worried?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? We're like, you don't get it.
I will tell you, the most anxiety-inducing thing was actually not getting married to my husband. It was having children.
Yeah.
Because like that's a bell you can't unring. Like they're just there forever.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like you can borrow the kids and give it back.
Yeah, no. They're like just there and they are so demanding and they need everything from you. That's the harder thing.
Yeah.
But it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, and I heard that
Hands
a lot.
down.
It's like it could be the most painful, but also the most meaningful thing that you would never get it otherwise. That's what I heard from all my friends who are much more mature and be like, Cody, like this will be the most joyful thing. Just make sure you get the right partner.
That's the thing.
Don't want to get kids and get into the wrong partnership.
Right. And that's why I was like worried when we were having kids. I was like, do I know him well enough? We've only been married for like 7 years now.
I know.
But the answer is yes. I really, now that I have my kids and I know who they are, I'm like,
I know.
I think back on it, I'm like, oh, I could have had them for like 6 years longer than I have already had them. Like,
Yeah.
what was I thinking? I missed out on all this time. Like, that's how I think of it, because you only get a finite amount of time here. And so I'm like, man, I could have had them for like even longer, and I missed that time and I can't get that back.
Yeah.
Same with like my parents, right? Like, they have even less time with my kids than I do. And so I'm like, they could have had 6 more years with my kids.
Yeah.
But everything happens for a reason. But you should just make a decision and move forward confidently.
Yeah, I don't I don't think there's a fear in that. And it's funny, when we first started dating, she always, because she's like a typical Asian family.
Yeah.
Dad is a breadwinner,
Yeah.
multiple business,
Yeah.
successful. Mom was a stay-at-home mom
Yeah.
since she was born.
Yeah.
So her image of a successful female was, you know what, I'll take care of kids.
Dinners on the table, house is clean, all the
Yeah.
stereotypical gender
but,
roles.
But the funny thing is, when we started doing a lot more things and she started handling more things like that, she realized that, wow, I can't really handle myself yet, time manage myself if I have a kid. And I told her that. I'm like, hey, I'm doing like a lot more work, seemingly. Okay. And if I would have a kid, I will break, because I'm trying to do both ends. So
Yeah.
you need to step up as well in terms of time management and all that. And she realized that she want to travel more.
Yeah.
And she's not ready to have kids, because before she was like, I want to have kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if you have kids, this is what it's going to look
Yeah.
like when you travel.
Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice with having children. That's for sure true. But I also think, too, that once you have kids, like, once they're there, you figure it out.
Yeah, that's
You
what
just
we've been
have
told.
to. Yeah.
And then I have to give credit to her and her family that really give me the confidence. Otherwise, I'll probably never get married. But because of her, I even consider. And, like, there's no barrier that we can go do it tomorrow.
Could you?
Uh-oh. Like, this is probably,
Did
like,
you hear
recorded
that?
on
We
the other
have that
side.
on camera, right?
Yeah, cut it out, editor.
So
This is not going live. But yeah, we're looking at maybe going to do a destination wedding.
that's what we did.
And what do you guys do?
We got married in Aruba.
Aruba.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I guess all your families are around this area, right?
Yeah, well, okay. I'm Indian. Our weddings are a whole different production
You guys have like
level.
2 weeks.
Yeah, they're like, we
Wedding.
had 7 events at our wedding.
Yeah.
So it's not like let's get married in a church and be done. Like, we're like, no, there's like all this pomp and circumstance around it. So when we were getting married, I was like, where can we go that's like far enough that a bajillion people we don't know aren't going to come, but close enough that our friends can come? That was the idea.
That was why, exactly why we're thinking about destination wedding.
Otherwise, you'll have a million people you don't know at your wedding, right?
Yes.
So
It's not like we invited you, you didn't come.
Right. Right. That's exactly it. You decided not to come, and that's cool. Yeah. So we had 110 people at our wedding, which in Aruba, that's considered like massive. They were like, this is it was the Marriott Stellaris. It was like a big hotel, like on the beach, right? Resort. And they were like, this is the biggest wedding we've ever had. And I was like, oh, okay. Because like when I tell my Indian friends, I'm like, yeah, we had a small wedding. They're like, oh, how many people? I'm like, 110. They're like, oh yeah, that is really small.
That's really small for India.
Like my kid's birthday party is bigger than our wedding at this point. And so we chose Aruba because it was like just far enough, but like just close enough.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was so much fun. I like tell my husband, I'm like, I want to get married again. And he's like, no. And I'm like,
how much did it cost you guys? Can I ask that?
Yeah, so my parents paid for it, and
really?
His parents, yeah, because we're.
But how much all in? I don't need to know who
like,
paid for what.
It was a little bit over 6 figures.
Okay,
maybe. It wasn't bad.
USD.
Yeah, USD.
Okay.
So like
that's not
10
bad.
million Canadian dollars. I
10,
guess.
yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I think that's
I say the same
conversion
thing,
rate.
like 1 to 10. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it wasn't bad. But this was also 12 years ago, so it was a long time ago.
Okay, so now it's probably
like a little
250 then.
Yeah, and when I tell my husband I want to get married again, I'm like, you can come or not. I am going to have another wedding. It would be great if you're there, honey, right? Like, I might need another groom. I don't know. But
Wow.
Now it would cost us
Should
so
I
much
still
more.
get married? Is that kind of a death
No,
threat
you
to your
should.
husband?
No, I would never.
Am I going to
murder
get that
him.
in 10 years? He's like,
Maybe.
Cody, I'm going to get married again?
Yeah, look.
I might need to find another groom.
We
It will
have-
happen regardless with or without you.
Right, it'll
Is that
happen
what's
with or
coming?
without you. You can come or not.
Oh man, I should
But
tell
no,
Claudette not to
here's
hang out
the
with you too
thing.
much. She'll know
Don't worry,
all the
we'll hang out
bargain.
after this.
Oh my god.
No, but here's the thing. We have different friends now. I've like leveled up so much
I
that
know.
like I have all these new people in my life that I want to include in something like that.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why.
Okay. I know I've been roast so much.
I know, I'm
enjoy
gonna
it.
be nice to
My
you.
co-host would be laughing so much at this because my co-host, her name is Nada. Nada, shout out to you. Nada, all like we're so polar opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like the do.
Yeah.
And she's like very bubbly and all
Yeah.
that. And we were gonna have an episode like this, and she roasts me, and I roast her. We don't know each other's question. Only our
amazing.
producers know.
That's
and
amazing.
approve.
I love it.
And now I feel like that's
That
already
just
coming.
happened.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to take
It was a one-way roast though.
and damn it, you're much a better closer than her because she's a little bit younger than me, and she
Oh,
doesn't
you can
have.
like push her around a little.
Oh wow! Now you
That's
drill a
what you're
hole
doing.
and push me into it. I don't push people
Just
around.
making sure. I'm just making sure you're not.
Oh my god, this is very
Okay.
dangerous.
This is so dangerous. You didn't even know what you signed up for when you asked me to do this, did you?
Okay, Wealthbusters. We're gonna focus
Okay,
on wealth.
yes.
Now, a lot of people like me might have to question, be like, okay, you were doing well in corporate America. Your husband was an anesthesiologist.
Yes.
Right? I know how much that make because my dad is one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of students
Yeah.
that are anesthesiologists in my circle. Why do you stick your neck out and risk everything?
Yeah.
And what are you looking for? You now have to show your face, stay on stage,
Yeah.
spend time away from your
crazy.
kids. Like, do you know what you started before you started? When now you look back, be like, I can't stop.
Yeah, I look back now and I'm like, I can't stop. I have too much that I want to do now.
Yeah.
But when I was getting married, actually when we got engaged,
Yeah.
my husband and I, we were on a date, we were walking in Georgetown, and I was like, yeah, so I think I want to just be like a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And he
wait,
goes-
wait, wait, I want to stop. How old were you?
I was 25.
Okay, that's when Claudette felt she was gonna do
I thought
that.
I was going to be like a stay-at-home mom
Yeah.
or like a stay-at-home wife.
what changed
maybe.
then?
Well, what he said was more important. So his response to me was, if that's what you want to do, the value of a stay-at-home mom is the equivalent of bringing in $150,000 salary.
Oh wow, your husband is
That's
so
what he said
analytical.
back then. Yeah, he's very analytical. I mean, he's an anesthesiologist. Like, he wants to analyze everything. And I remember I told my mom that. My mom was like, Veena, you should marry him because he will never undervalue what you do and what you bring to the home. Right? Because there's not a lot of men that would assign that. At that time, $150,000 was like making like $250,000 today, right? Or $300,000 today. And he was like, yeah, if you think about it, like, and you have to hire a nanny and a chef and a driver and a butler and all the things that stay-at-home moms do, their value is so significant. He's like, so if that's what's going to make you happy, I'm on board. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
okay. So then we got married and I tried it.
How long did you try it for?
2 months.
Okay.
Okay, so I did try for 2 months. I found out really quickly
Yeah.
a couple of things.
Yeah.
First thing I found out was it's really boring to brunch and shop every day after 2 months.
Do some yoga, do some
was-
massage.
It's still not enough to keep you occupied and busy. It's
Yeah.
really boring when your friends can't do the same thing because they have to
Oh.
work.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And then it's like, is this what you want to, like, we didn't even have kids. Like, I was just hanging out at home waiting for my husband to come home. And I was like, okay, he would come home, I would be miserable because I'd be like sitting at home all day. He would have just been at like a stressful day of work. And I'm like, okay, now talk to me and hang out with me because I've been bored. And he's like, okay, he's doing his best. You know, we're like newlyweds, so we're still like in the exciting, fun phase of being married, right? And then I was miserable, like just miserable because I wasn't reaching my full potential.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm going to just start investing. Like, this was the plan. This is what I'm going to do. So I started buying assets.
Who inspired you to go from stay-at-home mom to start doing multifamily?
My mom, I think.
Your
My
mom?
mom did because she she didn't work outside of the home ever because my dad traveled like 45 weeks out of the year.
What did your dad do?
So he retired as a president of a tech company.
Oh, wow.
And so he was traveling all the time. And so my mom was the solo parent for two little girls. So she couldn't really take a 9 to 5 because my dad wasn't at home to help with like a kid got sick or this happened or that happened. But she knew she wanted to contribute. And that's where her being a real estate investor really amplified their wealth early on.
She's like the financial advisor for the family.
Yes.
Dad, go make your money, active income.
Bring home the bacon and I will cook it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. And so I was like, all right, well, you know, she had a great life. She got to do all the things she wanted to do. I'm going to do that. And so I started investing in single family homes. And then I was like, wow, this is not scalable, even a little bit. And that's when I was like, I need something that can do more. But I love residential real estate.
What do you think is not scalable?
It's not scalable to the level that I wanted to scale it at, right? Like my busiest week, I bought 5 houses in a week. Even if I bought 5 houses every week, assuming I could find 5 houses that I was willing to buy, that takes me to 250 houses a year. It would take me a decade to get to 2,500 doors.
But why is that door number so important?
It's not that it was so important. It's this economies of scale lead to easier management and you can build out better teams and processes. I don't have to answer the phone call about the loud garbage disposal. Like all of those things were now off my plate now that I'm at scale because I have a manager and I have a leasing staff and a maintenance staff that can handle all of this for me.
Yeah, I'm just asking for a lot of my audience too. I mean, I heard that a lot, and I know going, you know, single family is easier to buy. You can see it, you can feel it.
Is it easier to buy?
Depends. Right?
It's not easier to finance.
It's not easier to finance because you have to have the income, or you bring someone on. Personal credit.
Yeah.
And instead of multifamily, just looking at the asset itself,
business, yep.
And as long as you have enough net worth or asset to back it up, you know, it's fine. Now, I want to ask you this. I might be now going viral on your Instagram now.
Okay, tell me.
Since your husband is an anesthesiologist, a physician, and I remember you mentioned that most of your investors that are not family office or hedge fund, all that, they're all physicians. Do you think your husband played a big role in helping you doing that? Hey Wealthbusters, I just want to put on a side note, I do not run any ads on this channel. So if you enjoyed the video up until this part, make sure you like, subscribe, and share with a few friends that can benefit from this. And let's get right back into the episode.
Yes and no. So fun fact I learned from him a couple of years ago is people would hear about me and what I do like through whoever their networks are, and they'd be like, oh, hey, Vamseen, I hear your wife does all of this like amazing stuff in multifamily. I'm really interested. And he'd be like, cool. And then go about his day. And then like, so did you give them...
He's
like,
not a good marketer. He's not a good
the
PR.
Worst.
She's not a good connector.
No. He was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, she's great. And then just go about his day. And I'm like, okay, did you give them my number? He's like, no. I'm like, did you give them my website? No. What'd you give them? Nothing. I just said great and moved on.
But maybe in hindsight, that's the best thing he could say. Because if he start giving out, then people that, wait, hold up.
But these are people that are approached, like they're looking for him.
Yeah.
To talk to him about this.
But you add an extra layer of curiosity. The mysterious. No, I really want to talk to her.
Yeah.
He doesn't even pitch anything. That's weird.
Well, he doesn't even know about what we do that much. Like he knows generally, but not very in the weeds.
Yeah.
And so, he is not involved at all. But I did tell him when he told me this, I was like, if someone wants to connect with me, give them my email, my phone number, my website, something that they can reach out if they want to know more, because I understand you're not going to talk about it. But I do think our investor avatar when we first started ended up being so physician heavy because I'm married to a doctor, right? Like I understand.
That's the part of the branding.
Yeah. Well, it's not even the branding so much as I understand the story of what physician families go through, right? Like a lot of physicians will go from making like $50K a year to $500K a year.
Yeah, residence doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Residency to practicing. And it's like, That's a massive leap.
10x.
And they have a tax problem and they have student loans and they tend to be more conservative investors. And all of those things were important. And I just innately understood it because of my family is in the same boat. We're not that different. And so for me, I think that made a big difference to kind of how I ended up speaking. And it wasn't intentional. It's just now looking back and looking at the data, I can see these patterns.
So most of your investors, like I remember you said 70% are
About
physicians.
70% are physicians.
So you like 50% of the physicians in America are investing with you now.
I don't know if it's quite that high, but a lot of them.
In Canada, there's like 75,000 doctors.
Yeah.
In US, 10x that. So that's by 750,000 maybe.
Yeah, I would say probably about 1 million. Yeah, maybe 50%.
That's crazy. Wow. So, like, where do you want to go? I know, I kind of see it in you, and you're very smart. I can see it. Because not a lot of people could put me on the spot, make me sweat so much, and in such a subtle way. Just by throwing me back a question. Usually I'm on the other side, but you're truly talented, and I just don't know about it. Or you know about it, and you're just hiding it.
I mean.
Now, where do you want to go? What's your end goal? Because a lot of time, I was chatting with Zach, the CEO for Rice 48, right? I'm like, he's very driven. Okay, I can see it in his eyes. I don't know if he have kids or anything. He's married or whatever. I don't really care.
You don't know if he's closed yet and actually gotten married.
No. Wait. Oh.
I had to get it in.
You have to get it in.
I had to. I saw an opportunity.
I finally get rid of my co-host Nada for one episode, and now we pop up another one. Nada, we found a new co-host in case you quit. Okay, we're gonna have Veena come on. She's also brown from Middle Eastern, and anyway, I'm not gonna say anything more. Everything I say is wrong.
Yes, it could be dangerous for you.
Yes. If it's not dangerous enough for you. Now, where do you see an end to this? Where is your game plan, or are you figuring out as you go because you think you keep changing and evolving? Because at the end of the day, like what is that thing that you're looking for?
This is something I actually spend a lot of time
thinking
about. I do
too. So like we got to talk about that.
I do spend
That's
a lot
better
of
than
time
talking about
thinking
marriage, okay?
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, no, because I definitely see myself dying like happy and married with like grown children, maybe some grandkids if they decide they want to have children. I don't know. So we don't see our futures the same. Okay. But for me, like everything that I do is for my family, right? Like that is.
But how much do they need? And is it good you pass on to them? Because I thought about that now.
Yeah, I think about that too. So the answer is we kind of take the Bill Gates approach where it's like, give your kids enough to do something, but not enough to do nothing.
Correct.
Right? And so...
That's what Claudia's dad did to them.
Yes. I think it's great. Like, I want to teach them to be responsible, productive members of society. You know, I tell them all the time, like, no, you don't have any money, so you can't do that. That's not your car seat. That's mommy and daddy's car seat. You can borrow it, but it's not yours. You don't have a bed. You can't afford one. You don't have any money. Like, this is something I say at least 1 million times a day. It should be like a drinking game in our
typical
house.
Indian like, culture.
For sure. But as far as what's enough, like, yeah, we do have enough. And so what's interesting is in the last like 12 months, I've made a shift. It's not even, I'm not chasing the dollars. I'm not chasing the assets. I'm not chasing the $1 billion mark. Like, that was not something I chased. It just happens by virtue of being in this business long enough. Now what
You're not even in this business that long.
I mean, 12 years.
Wait, well, I thought you bought your first house in 2016.
No, 2012.
Oh, 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, am I doing the math wrong? Yeah, 12 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's long enough.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm chasing now, like the high that I get, is from a mission of impact now. And what I try to tell my girls is like, look, mama's doing this stuff because mommy and daddy have taken care of our family, but now we have a responsibility to take care of other people's families and help someone else build for their children or their future generations or whatever their vision is. And so for me, the thrill of crossing the $1 billion was nowhere near as significant as the thrill of someone who says to me, I just closed my first multifamily deal because you helped me. And I'm like,
And how are you helping them?
in a lot of different ways.
Syndicators or
Yeah, there's syndicators, just anybody in general. Like, I really love business strategy, business structure. The business I happen to be in is multifamily, but I actually just like general business structure.
yeah.
But I what I found is that by not gatekeeping, a lot of the things that I've learned, other people can massively benefit from that. From building community, right? I have the Multify community now. That is a community that I very intentionally am working on curating, and I do that with the other members and leaders in the community. And it's very symbiotic, very synergistic, where one person helps someone else who helps someone else, and that's the true meaning of a community, right? And I try to lead by example there, but I've had like Al Dominguez, he's part of the community. He's bought 700 units since coming to Masterclass last year.
Crazy.
That is so much more exciting to me than crossing the $1 billion
crazy.
mark. I had Adam and Dana. They just bought 55 units from someone that they met at Masterclass because they were in that room. And I'm like, this is like mind blowing to me, right? Someone else is working on putting an almost $27 million deal under contract right here in my backyard. She's part of the community. It's just like there's so many people that are getting like their first step, or they're building that momentum, or they're going to that next level. That is the most interesting thing of what I do, and the reason that I keep doing what I do now.
And with all that being said, a lot of people might think, okay, Veena, come on, show me behind the curtain. What do you do with your real money? Like, we chat kind of offline that you're very successful. You say, out of all the deals, only one deal didn't hit your IRR and all that good stuff. Again, SEC, don't come back at me. Disclaimer, okay? Like, we didn't talk any numbers, promise anything.
No.
I just,
And we're not soliciting any investments.
Not something. We're just words of mouth. He say, she say. Now, I forgot what I was going to ask that.
You were going to ask me what I do with my money behind closed doors?
Not behind closed doors, but true.
Secrets.
Do you, how are you allocating the money you make right now? Because you're a GP, and GP is risking a lot of things. How do you protect that? What if all of a sudden a meteorite hit Earth?
Yeah, it's possible.
Now you're all liable for everything as a GP, right? So are you strategically, how are you setting up your structure so that you always have, I don't know, you tell me, how do you do that?
We have a lot of skin in the game on our own assets. So between my JV partner's family and my family, we represent the largest investor usually into our capital stack.
So are you always basically take the profit from this one and then pull into it the next one?
And we take the profit from this one, we put it into this one, and we add more money out of our own pocket. So it's not just our fees or our costs that we are.
Do you think that's why you show so much skin in the game, that people trust you so much? Because a lot of people say, I don't put any of my money in the game, it's all yours. So
I think it goes a long way with investors when they see how invested we are. And, the funny thing is it's not even the money that's the biggest risk. It's the reputational risk that's actually the most expensive for me. So just having your name on it is the biggest risk, in my opinion. But we put our money where our mouth is. And so our largest, in our portfolio, our trust portfolio, our largest holdings are in our own assets. But then I invest with other sponsors.
And the projects you're raising capital from.
Yeah, I invest into all of them.
Wow.
So that's our largest investment. Our other investments, I have single family in my portfolio. I try not to. I hate owning single family homes, but I do own single family. I own retail. I own production studios. I own restaurants. I have self-storage. I have Airbnbs. I have all these, and I have a lot of multifamily investments with other operators.
That makes sense. You already know how to underwrite. You're diversifying it. Different market, different operator strength.
Exactly.
I understand. But why do all that restaurant thing? Because I see a lot of successful entrepreneur. They had a lot of dream when they grew up, and they're now they have the money that I don't know where to put it. Hey, I like you. You want to open a restaurant here? You seem like a good operator. Go do it. What are you trying to achieve?
I'm leveraging other people's skill, expertise, resources, and
isn't
knowledge.
That one more thing? It's like you have another child.
No, because I'm passive in those.
But you still got to look at the number and make sure they're making money.
No, give me a negative K1 and then give me the return whenever you give me the return. I'm like the best investor to have in a deal.
Yeah, you just give the money. And
I give it to them.
Thing?
I mean, I have a team that looks over this stuff now, right? Like I have my tax strategist. So I work with a guy named Larry West here.
Larry West in Dallas?
In Dallas, yeah. He's amazing, by the way. Larry D. West III, Precision Business Strategies. I've been working with him
Tax strategist, right?
Tax strategist, yeah.
We need something like that in Canada.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Well, I don't know how much tax strategy you really can leverage there, though.
Oh!
It's painful.
You just like keep like jabbing
I'm in pain for you. I'm in pain for you.
Yeah.
But so Larry will look at it and be like, hey, we didn't get paid from this asset this month. And then I'll look in my email and be like, oh, yep, here's the update they sent us about why it isn't happening. Or he's a lot of times just included in the communication. But I'm like, look, reach out to me when there's good news, when there's really bad news, and when there's a K1. Other than that, deposit into my bank account and I don't want to hear from you. And that's just because I have so much other...
Yeah, priorities.
Yeah.
Those are small play money.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it play money, but...
Oh, yeah. Your play money might be big for other people. But.
Yes. Yeah, probably. I mean, there's levels, right? Like, there was a time, I remember when my husband and I were, like, first married. And
wait, how old is your husband?
He's 45.
Okay, so he already been practicing for a good
4 years.
Only?
Yeah, because
45.
He's 45 now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking how long he's been practicing now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He had been practicing 4 years when we met.
Yeah.
So he graduated maybe like
11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about right. The timeline.
Yeah. Maybe he's been practicing for 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
So practicing for 20 years. 15 out of residency, maybe. I don't actually know when he graduated. I can't remember anymore. But when we first got married...
Are you sure you guys are married?
I don't know anymore. Now, there's so many children involved. Who knows if we're actually married? I'm just kidding. There's the two. But when you have twins, it feels like 100.
Oh, because a handful, right?
Because they're like at the same time. And going from 0 to 2 children is like so many children.
Yeah.
So that's
Is there a secret of getting twin kids?
Yeah, be from a family that has a lot of twins.
Oh, okay.
So my dad's a twin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we have a lot of twins in our family. But anyway, I remember when we were first married and my husband bought me a pair of shoes that I wanted. Do you know what Vibrams are?
Vibrams?
Yeah. They're like these weird shoes that look like, they're
like
toes.
supposed to be better when you train all your small muscle. Is that
what they're for? I don't know. I thought they were cool, so I wanted a pair.
Yeah.
So he buys a pair, and then he's coming to meet me for dinner, okay? We have date night.
And Vibrams?
I sent him Vibrams. Vibrams. I always say Vibrams, but I've heard him said Vibrams too.
Yeah, maybe I'm Canadian. They always laugh at me when I say process.
Process, yes, that's such a Canadian. Or wash, or a boot.
Boot.
A boot. Like, I don't know a boot that. That's like, as soon as someone says, I'm like, are you Canadian?
Oh,
I know immediately. Or process. Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he buys me these Vibrams. He meets me for dinner. I'm like, hey, where are my shoes? He's like, oh my gosh, I forgot them in the cab.
You don't like them so much, you just accidentally leave them in the cab.
Right. That's what... No, he left them. I did not leave them.
Okay.
I was at the restaurant. He was meeting me there. So he was supposed to go buy them and then meet me at the restaurant and bring them into the restaurant.
Yeah.
He leaves them in the cab and forgot them there. And I was like... I'm still thinking about this 12 years later. So it was a big deal then. But I was like, how could you forget these? Like, they were so expensive. They were $109. At the time, like that's how much I paid for, which at that time it felt like so much money to us. And I was like so careful. I was like very, very cautious with our pennies.
Yeah.
And he was like, I know, I'm sorry. He was like way more lackadaisical about it, but I was like very upset about it. And then it took me like 6 months before I rebought them. We never got them back. Yeah. So it took me like 6 months, and then I ended up buying them again. But I felt so guilty that I had spent another $109 on these shoes. And I just say that to say, like, there's levels. Like now...
But here's my question, though. Were you happier back then, or were you happier now? Because when I make my first $100,000 sitting in my bank, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
That was the happiest moment.
Really?
Yeah. Because that was like, something's working.
I get it. Like,
working.
the accomplishment is
But now
there.
it's like, okay,
I think the thing about money is back then, I thought that having more money was the thing I wanted to be happy. And now I recognize that money is just a tool to get the thing I actually want, which is time. Right? So I don't care that much about money if I could not leverage it to get my time back with my family, with my kids, doing the things I want to do, being able to say no to whatever I don't want to do. If I couldn't do that, then it wouldn't be worth it. But we have a really good life. Like, I have this lifestyle by design that I can only have because of the money that we have made and the investments that we made. So I'm very grateful for what we've accomplished. And like, I love being able to like choose what we do. I'll tell you, like, we donate a whole lot more than we did when we didn't make as much money. And so I can just have more impact. I can allocate to things that are important for me without like really thinking very much about it. Like, I just told you the story about how much I agonized over spending $109. And then like for this Christmas drive that we were at, it was with this nonprofit called Family Promise, and they help families like get on their feet by providing low cost housing. And I was talking to the organizer, we were at a fundraiser event. She's like, oh, we're just a little bit short. And I was like, what's a little bit short? She's like, we're $2,000 short to get this completely wrapped up of all the things we need for this month. And I was like, great. And I was like, send me the Venmo. And I gave them the $2,000. And like, I didn't even think twice about it. And that's something that I would have had to like agonize over and then, talk to my husband and be like, babe, is this something we should do? Is this where we want to donate our dollars? And, I got home and
it's all perspective.
It's all relative.
It's all relative. And when, the true freedom of just doing that and not have to think about it. It's big.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Yeah.
And it's a responsibility, and I don't take it lightly.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Pace Morby.
Yes.
Are you guys brothers?
I mean, we should be brothers, basically.
Yeah. So how do you know Pace Morby, and are you guys doing stuff together? Or what's that about?
We do. What don't we do together is probably like a smaller list of things.
Okay.
Like, we are always hanging out doing. I was actually supposed to see him last week, and I canceled my trip. He'll be here next week on Thursday. Or Wednesday, we're celebrating his birthday. Thursday, we're going to be, he's speaking at a conference, so I'll be there to like cheerlead him.
Nice.
And then I'll be seeing, I see him like every couple weeks now.
Because you guys speak at a lot of events together.
We speak at a lot of events. We do a lot of deals together.
How do you guys make
recently,
it win-win?
Like, I invest in Sub 2 fund. He invests into my funds. He's done a fund of funds on a couple of my deals now. We always are recording like some content together. He spoke at my masterclass. I speak at his events. I spoke at Golden Ticket. Squad Up Summit's coming in April, so I'm going to be speaking there. Him and Jamil are throwing that together. But he's like family to me. He really is like my brother.
How long have you known him for?
Interestingly, it's only been 3 years now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? No, 2 years.
2 years.
It's crazy because I feel like I've known him my whole entire life.
Yeah.
There's 12 kids in his family.
Wait, he has 12 kids?
He has 4.
Oh, okay.
But he's one of 12.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm the 13th long-lost sibling. Like, I'm your long-lost brown sister. But what's great about Pace is he sees people before they see themselves. And he sees what
Is that what you're trying to do with me?
No, this is just common sense. If Pace were here, I 100% promise you, he would be a lot meaner than I am about it and be like, what are you doing? He would actually say, you're a knucklehead. That's exactly what he would say.
You're Canadian, Taiwanese knucklehead.
I don't know that he would put the qualifiers, but he would definitely call you a knucklehead. Okay. And he'd be like, what are you doing? Because his wife, Laura, is incredible. I am obsessed with her.
Okay, here I'm gonna take a turn.
Yeah,
it's like if you find the right partner, and I believe Claudia is the right partner.
I was just about to say, what are you doing right now?
okay, and then I think it's the right decision. But based on stats, there's 50% divorce rate.
Okay.
Right, and we have seen people that divorce and marry the same person, divorce again and marry the same person. Not that saying that's an extreme case.
It feels unlikely.
I'm saying when you know it's the right person, and you do all your due diligence.
Yeah, you do your due diligence. Okay, all right.
Then,
We're doing our due diligence.
It's just about time.
Okay, do you know how many deals I would have done if I was like, I need 7 years of due diligence?
Okay, it's fine. It's gonna happen. It's just when. Okay, it's just when we're planning for it. We're planning
Today,
for it.
the best time to plant a tree was 7 years ago. The second best time is today.
Oh man.
This is the thing. Okay, I'm gonna give you the hack for being happily married.
Okay, there's always a naysayer on this. I'm not saying I'm saying that, but I still believe if it's the right person. Like Warren Buffett would say this: the smartest decision you can make is find a partner that's smarter than you.
Yes.
And marry her and hope that she doesn't find out too soon.
That's what I did.
Yes.
Yeah. My husband's way smarter than me.
Yes. No, you're pretty smart too.
No, he's
you just very smart. Good at maneuvering it to make sure you don't step on anyone's toe. You're way smarter than you think you are.
A very specific skill set.
Yes.
But okay, so are you saying that you didn't find a partner?
Let's change the subject here, okay? I will never win on this one.
Yeah, no, you won't.
No, I will never win on this one. I know.
Well, this is the key.
I know where you stand.
Look.
I know where Pace Morby will stand.
Yes, I will speak for him.
Okay, I gotta wear a helmet when I meet you guys next time.
Yes, probably. Well, you maybe have to wear a helmet when you go home tonight. I don't know.
But thanks for putting me on the spot, eh?
I did not put you on the spot. Your inaction did.
Oh wow.
So
I'm like Veena's like taking a coaching strategy call with me, and I'm like, this person, I just couldn't make a decision. I don't know, the price is too high.
Would you want to do business with someone who can't make a confident decision? Would you? No, nobody wants to do business with someone like that.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So here's the hack. The 3 words that you can always say. Okay? The best words that my husband ever says to me.
Yeah.
For our whole entire marriage. It's not I love you. It's whatever you want. Oh. Right? There's this whole saying that's like happy wife, happy life.
Wow.
Right? And my husband has discovered that. Pace has discovered that.
And you want me to get married?
I'm just saying it's in your best interest.
Okay.
But listen, not everyone can make elevated decisions. So if you can't, I understand this.
Oh my God.
And no, we did not discuss this ahead of time.
I'm just saying.
Clear.
What
we really need is you to compile all of this and make like a short reel of all the reasons that you're not getting married. That's what we need.
And Veena is going to do a reaction video to that.
Yes, I will. Tag me on it. I will react to it.
Like, so this is what Cody said. Here's my reaction on it.
Yeah.
You're just a knucklehead.
Yeah. That's Pace's line. I can't take that, but I will find other words.
You always use something that's so subtle and so nice, but you just gut shut me.
Yeah.
Deep
it's
down.
An art.
It's worse than saying F you.
I know.
Because you get down into my skin, and then you're like, I don't care about your background. I don't care about how you grow up. You're just soft.
Yeah.
Like Cody, you know what soft spell like?
Soft.
You know how that's spelled?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like it's your partner or joint venture partner Ellie Perlman similar personality, because the last time I was on her podcast 2 years ago, she didn't do this to me.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing about Ellie, okay? She is way smarter than me, for sure. There's no doubt about it.
I see the game now. You always play dumb.
No,
You're the smartest one.
No.
I can see it now.
That's what I tell her.
The whole point, you can grow me. No, not a lot of people can grow me like that, okay? And you always say, she's way smarter than me.
She is. I'm telling you. Well, okay. But then I think maybe I'm smarter because I've tricked her into being my partner on so many deals. And
see?
She has not recognized it yet. But
you elevate people, but you secretly
ride their coattails.
Yes.
That's what
and you're good at doing that. That's your strength.
I mean,
and
it's
when
scrappy.
people find out it's already too late, and they find out it's a win-win, so they're like, damn it,
might as well just keep winning
another
together.
one.
Yeah,
damn it.
That's the move, right? That's the hack.
That's your strength.
And I think it is. It's the single thing that has made me as successful as I am today is finding people smarter than me and then riding their coattails to success.
And then motivate them.
Be like,
motivate.
Ellie, you can do more. And then, but also while you do more, take me with you, right?
Yeah.
She's going to be the biggest name in multifamily ever. I promise you that much.
Why do you think that?
She is laser focused. She executes like nobody I've ever seen. She problem solves relentlessly. And her story is much more interesting than any story I've ever heard. She came from nothing. And she grew up in a house where she had food insecurity. And now she's an immigrant. She came to this country, built this incredible life, has overcome so much hardship. And her family of origin also didn't have the resources or the knowledge to teach her about how to invest. So she had to learn all of this on her own. And she is just a powerhouse. And I'm like so lucky that I get to be in her orbit. But she's a killer. So she's actually much smarter than me, and she's very like focused and laser focused, precise.
Yeah.
She's less likely to call you out for your BS.
Oh wow.
Than I am. It's like a different skill
Elliot,
sets.
are you gonna get you on our next podcast?
Ellie, let's do it.
No, you're not gonna be here.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get to tag team this because she's also married to an incredible husband too.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I remember that.
Super supportive, smart.
Yeah.
And they have a baby together now too. So I'm just saying.
She's. I think
He can't recover. He cannot recover from this.
the real lesson from this Wealthbuster podcast is that if you find a right partner, hope that she's smarter than you.
Yes.
And whether you're male, female, doesn't really matter. You guys will go a long way.
Yes.
You guys, it's not like all sunshine and rainbow. You guys will work things out. But when you guys need each other,
You're there.
will be the powerhouse.
Yes.
And I think Veena, the whole message of this podcast is that Veena thinks that
You should
Cody.
be married. That's right.
Cody found a right person. And,
Yes.
And the reason why he's successful is half or more than half because of that. And he thinks that he'll be more successful if he moves forward.
Yes. I mean, where's the lie?
What's that?
Where's the lie? It's all truthful. Everything that you just said is true. You would be more successful.
Yes. I truly believe in that. And that's where most of my support and security felt. It's from her side, not from my side. So
Yeah. I will tell you, I was somebody that was like, I'm not going to live with you until we're married.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. Because I'm like, because exactly this. You get comfortable playing house.
She's way too smart.
And I'm
She's
I'm not doing that. I don't play house for free. Like, no. You are going to make an investment in me if you are going to take the best I have to offer.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
And he did.
Yeah.
I told him, it was like, what are we doing here? And he's like, I'm proposing instead. And it's like, cool.
And why don't you propose?
I'm actually very traditional in this very specific regard. It's so weird.
This is like you ask everyone to be uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
you're being the comfortable one that don't want to.
I gave him a
do it.
timeline. I said, we have 1 year to date and get married or not.
Just be very truthful on this though. Like there's a borderline between how smart you are and how
Where's this going again?
how motivating you could be. But at the same time, you don't get comfortable that doing.
Yeah, look, I also will say this too. Like, I'm a very different person today than I was when I got married.
Yeah.
Like, if I were in some situation now, I think it would be more of like a discussion. But I mean, like, I like the.
I'm just trying to fight
romance.
back, I'm just
I
trying
like
to fight
the
back.
romance of being proposed to.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking.
Have you ever done the Clifton Strengths?
I know. You talked about
Are you still
that.
rolling this? Because I feel like this is important for your podcast.
I did disc.
Okay, no. DISC is totally different and nowhere near as good. You have to do the Clifton Strengths Assessment. Go
Clifton
find
Strength.
the Rosie Noel on Insta. Okay, that's her name.
Okay.
Her name's Rosie Noel. She's the one in the entrepreneur video with me.
Okay.
There are 4 main domains. Okay.
Yeah.
There's green, which is strategic thinking.
Yeah.
There's blue, which is relationship building. There's purple, which is the executing function.
Yeah.
And there's orange, which is the influencing theme. I'm orange.
I'm same.
the most orangest orange. You haven't taken it though.
No, when I took the disc, it came out as influencer.
No. These are not the same. You cannot
Okay.
conflate them.
Okay.
You have to do this one. And you might be influencing theme, but what I was going to say is me being able to like motivate you is me just leading with influence.
Yeah, motivate
That's
is
what it is.
understating comments in this now. It's so strategic. Like,
For
I think
thought.
if anyone wants to negotiate Veena, don't want to be on the other side of the table.
I love
That's
negotiating.
how I read this.
That might be true.
Because personally, I feel like when you're negotiating with guys, we're very
Yeah.
straight thinkers. But
Yeah.
when you're negotiating with girls, you have a lot more tool in your toolbox. You can soften it up and you can go harder. But when guys push,
Yeah. It's not great.
it's like, why
Yeah.
do you do that, right?
I'm actually really scared of negotiating with one of my daughters. She is.
See, like girls are better negotiator. Like when I get on any of the strategy calls for 2 hours is because on the other side is a female like yourself.
Yeah.
And they're truly generally negotiating.
Yeah.
And they do that all day, which I'm like,
Yeah.
are you in or are you out?
I.
I don't
It's
see.
interesting you say this.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's go into
Then
intro.
with
Let's-
that, and cut scene.
If you're watching until this point, make sure you like and subscribe, and we have more episodes like this waiting for you, so stay tuned. And if you don't mind, give us a 5-star review so more people like yourself can enjoy episodes like this.